Name a more iconic super robot move. I'll wait. But not very long, because I've got a video to get to.
Mazinger, Mazinger, Mazinger.
Machine? Devil? Mazinger Z. Time's up. Did you come up with one? Of course you didn't. Hello and welcome to Earth Alien ProtoMet. And in case the opening clip wasn't enough to clue you in, today I'll be taking a look at 1972's super robot anime Mazinger Z, created by Go Nagai and produced by Toei Animation. Let's go! From the recently uncovered ruins of Bardos Island, the evil Dr. Hell plots to use the mechanical beasts of an ancient civilization in his plot to conquer the world. But before his army attacks in full, he sends his agents to kill Dr. Juzo Kabuto, a scientist who's discovered both the miraculous photon energy as well as a new element, Japanium. Dr. Kabuto's grandsons, Koji and Shiro, discover their dying grandfather, but also learn that the old man had foreseen Dr. Hell's plot for world conquest. Using Japanium, Dr. Kabuto created a super alloy called Z, and used it to create a powerful giant robot, Mazinger Z. With his dying breath, Dr. Kabuto asked Koji to use Mazinger Z, giving the young man the choice of using the robot as a benevolent savior or a malevolent demon. For those of you not aware, Go Nagai is a manga author who's almost as prolific as Shotaro Ishinomori, whom Go worked with, and he's famous for a lot of his creations, including Cutie Honey, Devilman, and a number of other more controversial works. But arguably his most famous creation is Mazinger Z, which has had a huge impact on the super robot genre. Koji Kabuto, the hot-headed pilot of Mazinger Z, is the prototypical super robot protagonist, relying on his guts and determination to pull through, basically willing his way to victory in even the most dire of circumstances. But his skills as a pilot leads him to be quite arrogant. Even when he's being helped in battle, he's always acting as though Mazinger Z is the only one fighting to protect the world, and he's also got quite a sexist streak to him, which results in the show feeling quite dated. But despite Koji's arrogance, he is helped. There's Dr. Yumi, the head of the Photon Light Institute, which researches peaceful applications of photon energy. Dr. Yumi is also integral to aiding Koji in maintaining and later upgrading Mazinger Z. Dr. Yumi's daughter, Sayaka, also aids Koji more directly, as she is the pilot of the Institute's resident giant robot, Aphrodite A, which was created to act as a symbol of peace. Too bad that it's constantly getting wrecked. There is an episode where Sayaka lobbies to get her robot upgraded for combat, since she's always in the thick of battle, but her suggestion gets rejected, which compounds a sexist inclination the show sometimes feels it has. Thankfully, Aphrodite A isn't completely useless, as it can fire a pair of missiles from its... Okay, this show is really sexist. But there's an even more incompetent robot in the form of Boss Borat, a machine made from spare parts and piloted by Boss, a gruff gang leader with a crush on Sayaka and a chip on his shoulder regarding Koji. But both Boss and Boss Borat are presented as more comic relief, so the fact they are constantly trounced is meant intentionally for humor. Rounding out Koji's allies are the other scientists at the Institute, Sawashi, Nosori, and Morimori, as well as Boss's subordinates Mucha and Nuke, all of whom provide comic relief. Then there's Koji's younger brother Shiro, who plays a rather prominent role in the series, getting quite the spotlight for a side character. He's not super significant to the plot, but he does act as an emotional support for his brother, and he's handled quite well. Over on Dr. Hell's side of the conflict, he is a commanding leader with his own subordinates in addition to his army of mechanical beasts. There's the hermaphrodite Baron Ashura, who is voiced by two voice actors, Hidekatsu Shibata and Haruko Kitahima, and whose voice ranges from both actors at once to a single actor, depending on which of their faces is facing the camera. They are supported by an army of soldiers, the Iron Masks, who have been surgically modified to obey Dr. Hell and Ashura. Then there's General Brocken, a decapitated Nazi resurrected by Dr. Hell to serve him using his personal troops, the Iron Helmets. These two are in constant competition with each other, viewing each other as rivals for Dr. Hell's favor. Late in the series, a new general, Viscount Pigman, shows up, but he isn't around for very long, and that's probably a good thing, given how he's basically a racist caricature. Finally, there's Gorgon, a tiger centaur-like giant who is revealed to be the source of Dr. Hell's mechanical beasts. He plays a significant role in the show's finale, but I won't spoil that for you guys. But, of course, one can't talk about Mazinger Z without talking about the titular robot. Created from super alloy Z and powered by photon energy and sheer willpower, this giant robot is the very definition of a super robot. Mazinger Z packs quite an arsenal, from its iconic rocket punch, which launches its fists at opponents, to its photon beam, which fires powerful lasers from the robot's eyes, from its breast fire, which emits a powerful heat ray that can melt most enemy robots, to its rust hurricane, which can cause enemy machines to crumble to dust. Mazinger Z has a very powerful array of attacks, and it gains more as the series progresses. And these abilities have greatly influenced the super robot genre of mecha anime.
Without Mazinger Z, there'd be no Getter Robo, no The Big O, no Escaflowne, no Mobile Fighter G Gundam, no some other super robot anime that I'm not terribly familiar with, but which you're shouting at me for not including.
Unfortunately, while Mazinger Z is incredibly influential, I found that most of the episodes were pretty formulaic, and I got bored watching the series. Personally, I prefer the much darker manga, but the anime is what most people are more familiar with, and it is what I'm reviewing. The mechanical beasts are well designed, though, and they each have quite a bit of creativity behind them, each having unique features and abilities. But of course, they all fall to the might of Mazinger Z, and rarely do they ever manage to last more than a single episode.
Maybe I just prefer my mecha anime to have a more substantial plot, like the Gundam franchise tends to have, but for the most part, I couldn't really get into the anime. But like I said before, I do prefer the darker manga, and while I find this anime to be lacking, I'm still very interested in checking out this show's sequel, Great Mazinger. In fact, I find it hard to not recommend giving Mazinger Z a watch. Despite whatever flaws the anime has, I feel that Mazinger Z is an incredible robot independent of the media he's depicted in. In fact, I demand that everyone who hasn't already given this show a watch do so, because of just how significant it is to the mecha genre. And until next time, I'm ProtoMet. See ya.